So, Aquaman the Lost Kingdom was recently reviewed by screeners, and they said it's one of the worst superhero movies of all time. That is an aggressive review. In fact, a bunch of screeners walked out of the movie. That is not good. Now, of course, we can't judge before we ourselves actually see this movie. I'm not going to just sit here and say, oh, this is awful when the movie hasn't even come out yet. Personally, I am really worried now because, well, I really like the first Aquaman movie. I understand there's a lot of behind the scenes drama when it comes down to Amber Heard. And personally, I do agree that the character should have either A, been killed off screen and just have a new female character in the movie, or B, just recast Mara. But that didn't happen. So that also is something that I think is going to be very, very controversial and is going to definitely drag this movie down. But that's apparently not the only thing about this movie that is apparently going to drag it down. That being, according to many reviewers, that this movie apparently is really badly paced, which can make or break a movie experience for certain viewers. Personally, pacing of a story is something that I personally really do think is important to the actual movie or comic or TV show, etc. Even if the story itself is creative and good, the pacing of it has to be, in my opinion, well done. This movie apparently, according to many early reviewers, doesn't do that. Now, there are a lot of movies that I personally really like that are typically regarded as being some of the worst superhero movies of all time. For example, I like the Black Widow movie, which is something that a lot of people really disliked. So I'm hoping that's the situation here, because I really do want to like this movie. In fact, I'm pretty sure, the last DCEU movie. The reason why I say pretty sure is because, well, the DCEU over there and the whole new DCU stuff is kind of messy and jumbled, and I'm not entirely sure if this is the DCEU or the DCU, because I don't know. I really don't. Either or, it's not a good note to end on, and it's not a good note to start on. Because it does come after the Flash movie, which is implied to be the end of the DCEU. So if that is, then this movie would be technically the start of the DCU. But I'm just going to call it the DCEU because it's easier, and if this really is the end of it, and it's not a good note it ends on, I think a lot of people are going to be very disappointed. Personally, the DCEU I've had some very mixed emotions on. In fact, I personally think that the DCEU as a whole was not great, but they definitely had a lot of good moments, in my opinion, even great moments. And it also has a lot of fans, and to end it on a anticlimactic note, I think, is kind of a waste of potential. Because there was potential in the DCEU. It just took a really long time to see it, and by the time it happened, they just scrapped it. Now, from behind the scenes, we've seen photos of BlackManta, Aquaman, etc., and personally, I think both Aquaman and BlackManta look pretty cool, especially BlackManta. In fact, that is probably one of my favorite BlackManta outfits. From the comics, I like the silver head. I understand wanting to give the character a more, like, marine look with the black head and make it look more like a seal. Not the animal, but as in the occupation. Occupation, I mean. Sorry, I pronounced that wrong. I think BlackManta here, though, looks very much more comic accurate, and I personally do appreciate that because I really like the silver head. I think it really makes him pop and make the character come across as if he is just right out of the comic. And that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye!